first story. The Upper West Police are on a manhunt for two suspected armed robbers who robbed a level 200 student of the WA campus of the University for Development Studies at a hostel and took all personal effects from her and raped her in addition. JoyNews Upper West correspondent Rafik Salam reports from WA.
Lie down. And I was like, oh, for what? I've given everything out for you. For what else again? Now just lie down and stop looking at my face, or else I'll kill you. Do you want to die? I was like, no, I don't want to die, please. Then I laid down and he raped me.
Level 200 student of the WA campus of the University for Development Studies giving a chilling account of two unidentified armed men who broke into her friend's room, with one of them allegedly raping her.
I saw two men standing in front of our gate and I shouted, Jesus, and one came closer with cutlass that I should shut up or else he will kill me. And they were like, where is your friend? I said, which friend? I pretended like I was alone here, and he still keeps asking me, where is your friend? I said, okay, she went out last night and she's not back. And they were like, where is the motor key? Where is the motor key? I was like, I don't know where my friend kept it. That, okay, I should pray they found the motor key or else they will kill me. And I was like, okay, they should look around. They should search around, maybe they'll find it. And they found it and they were like, where is your iPhone?
The incident happened around 3 a.m. on Tuesday during the absence of her bosom friend. Crestfallen and with beads of tears on her cheeks, she stated that the armed marauding bandits took all valuable personal effects from her.
Okay, give me your phone and give us your PIN code so that we will do it ourselves. And I was okay, and they were still like, are you sure the PIN code is correct? If you find out it's not correct, we'll come back the next day and shoot you through the window. I was like, it's correct, you can check it. And they checked the balance and they found the PIN code was correct. And after that, they took my friend's laptop and the motorbike and my two phones and my friend's phone, two phones, and that was all. And they were like, okay, lie down. And I was like, oh, for what? I've given everything out for you. For what else again? Now just lie down and stop looking at my face, or else I'll kill you. Do you want to die? I was like, no, I don't want to die, please. Then I laid down and he raped me.
The victim's friend was called to the hostel through a phone call by her neighbor during the wee hours of the morning. They have since reported the matter to the WA police, where a medical form was issued to the victim to seek medical care. Upper West Regional Commander of the Ghana Police Service, DCOP Francis Aboji Nyako, accompanied by his deputy, ACP Peter Ndekuru Anaburi, has visited the scene of the crime and the WA campus of UDS. Upper West Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Police Service, Inspector Gideon Borton, said the police have started investigation on the issue and will do everything possible to arrest the suspects. The alleged rape and armed robbery at MANHUNT sum up the security challenge students and lecturers of the university are battling with, and which has given the university towering headlines. Students of the university threatened to go on demonstration in April, while their lecturers in June stormed the Upper West Regional Coordinating Council on two buses with a petition to the regional minister for onward submission to the president for what they term as increasing spate of armed robbery attacks on both staff and students of the university. On a weekly basis, lecturers and students of the university are being attacked by unknown marauding armed robbers, yet it seems very little has been done to put a stop to it. Some students of the university recounted incidents that occurred this week and will wish stringent measures are put in place by the police administration to put a lid on the activities of these marauding hoodlums.
All of a sudden, the guys rushed and then came to attack us. But seriously, I took to heels because I was scared. And I remember the last thing I told the lady was to run, but I don't know if she did run or not. But later on, I heard her screaming, wailing, and I looked back, but I didn't know what was happening. So when I got to the hostel, I decided to go back, and I saw that she was lying on the ground crying. So I approached her and asked her. She said they used a cutlass to hit her neck, and she fell, and they picked everything, including the food she went to buy.
So even yesterday, we recorded an incident as at 7:20 p.m. 2 students from this hostel, a guy and a lady, they were robbed of their phones, and the lady was also harmed. They used a knife to hit the neck, and it got swollen that we had to even apply balm on it and send her to the hospital.
For now, students are shocked to the marrow. Rape and armed robbery seem to be part of the extracurricular activities of the university and are being discussed, laced with fear at every corner of the campus. Reporting for JoyNews, Rafik Salam. Wow.
Inspector Gideon Boateng, who is the public relations officer of the Upper West Police Command, has been speaking on security in the area.
Security over here in the Upper West and the two campuses as well is very tight to the extent that police don't sleep neither day nor night, and we perform the day's duties, the night duties with personnel as much as security is concerned. The Regional Police Command has not slept over security issues, so security is very tight. The girl at stake who reported the case, investigation has proven that he is not even a student of the university, but every college a potential ally. He came and we received it, all right, and the regional command also visited the place, and investigation has proven, as of the time I'm telling you right now, that the girl is not a student of the business school. But then I would say security is very tight, and the regional police command, the commander in the person of DCOP, Mr. Francis Abadinako, and his men visited the place, and they are really intensified security at the campus as well as the war and its environment.
Away from that story, tires were set ablaze in a peaceful demonstration protest carried out by drivers of the Circle Overhead Station against an alleged invasion of their lands. It took the joint efforts of the Ghana National Fire Service and the police service to quench flames and ensure that the situation did not get out of hand. According to a leader there, a vice chairman for Progressive Transport Owners Association, Glenn Ansong, drivers had been threatened multiple times in the past few days to leave the premises by unnamed macho men. Today's demonstration stems from the arrival of excavators and more of such threats at midnight.
Actually, we were here 3 days ago, and some people came here claiming the land is theirs. So fine. We told them that if the land is theirs and they want to vacate us from here, this is not the way to do it. They should hold their peace. They should talk to those who sold the land to them. For the people to come and talk to us, then give us some time so that we can move out. They said no, they will still dump the sand here. They brought in a sand. But as we were talking, one of our colleagues called the chief of Adabraka, and he came in and he talked to the people, and the people left. So we decided that we will wait and see what they will do, because we have to know. So we were here till daybreak, nothing happened. So we went home. This dawn, they came with stones. And
how many people are you talking about here?
There are about 10 in number, if I may say. They are 10 in number. And they came in, and the way they are big, they are giants. So we couldn't do anything, because from the beginning we've told them that we are working here, but we are not the rightful owners. So if they have something to tell us, they should go and talk to the people, so that people come and talk to us.
Now, although demonstrations have been halted for the time being, the drivers are unhappy with the new challenge in their work area. They spoke about their frustrations to JoyNews.
When we saw the thing, we saw that no, if we should intervene or ask them any question, maybe there will be open confrontation, so we quickly rushed to the Nima police station to make official report. And we were given one commander whom I don't know the name and the rank, but he escorted to this place and met the people. He spoke to them, he asked them many questions, and they answered him, and they produced a document which we didn't see, but it was the commander who read it, and finally the commander told us that we should leave the place. He don't want any fight. Should we fight or make any noise, we will be arrested. And I asked him, that commander, so at the moment can we go on the road and load, because it is getting yeah. So what exactly are we doing? Our drivers will be working, the passengers will also be coming. He said no, should we go to the roadside, we will be arrested. So we do some consultation. We called, they said they gave our regional secretariat copy of the letter. They informed the assembly. But we were told the assembly also is saying that no, they are not aware of that.
My name is Risky Noble, and I'm a taxi driver and at the same time a musician. And yeah, a long time, back 22 years ago, I had a friend, my middle of transport taxi rank, I shepherd to us. But if you say, but I two have at least, man, about 1 week and now 3 months in Puerto, 3 months and now Bibi Kakra. But they came who are they change best hours because also they pay. Inti, and when I be at a came on a penny back, say risky, Monsolio, they are cornered there. Squad, they don't want to be good, anymore. Class the key, bus stop one year easy.
Away from that story, the National Coalition for Proper Human Sexual Rights and Family Values has served notice it will not allow government to introduce the comprehensive sexuality education syllabus in Ghanaian schools. Speaking a while ago at a news conference, Executive Secretary and National Spokesperson Moses for Amwening and an executive member, Dr. Samuel Owona, outlined the role of the United Nations and its agencies in the promotion of the LGBTQI agenda. Here are excerpts.
We want to expose how the United Nations has become a propaganda tool for the propagation and circulating of LGBT activities. The United Nations as an institution, and don't forget that the UN is for all of us. It's not for a group of people. No, it's for all of us. Established by treaty. Every country signs the treaty to become a member. But our sovereignty belongs to us. And we determine what we will do. And we are the ones that pay the subscription and give the money to the United Nations. So they cannot choose to push one particular agenda. So we are here to expose to you how the UN as an organization has been taken over. Two, not only the UN, but also its agencies, UNESCO. Because you hear the CSU people say, oh, it is UNESCO who brought it, UNFPA, United Nations Fund for Population. Once you mention UN, they think everybody will be afraid. No longer. We are not fools. We are not idiots. We also went to school. Those in the United Nations, some of us educated them when we were in England. We went to school with them. They're no better than us. So they cannot fool us with the United Nations. I am sorry. Today we will expose to you how the UN agencies have become a channel for spewing LGBT material and enforcing an international decadent moral philosophy on all of us. And you see, they're doing it through the UN, so that you and I will not suspect it. Will uncover the UN. The BBC, what did they say? Sex for what grades? They should do another, they should do another expose. Trumu in the BBC. Trumu. Go to the BBC, homosexuality in the BBC. That is what the BBC needs to emphasize. We are also sending, as we are not lying, we are also sending our spies to the BBC. They should get ready. We will do an expose on homosexuality within the BBC and the CNN and Al Jazeera. And in Canada, they have what they call Bureau of Compliance. Bureau of Compliance. They are the police for enforcing the LGBT agenda in Canada. Bureau of Compliance. is merciless to ensure or to deprive even your fire-breathing mavericks or preachers from moving away from this matter. It means that it doesn't matter how strong you are. As I'm standing here making tobe, if it's in Canada, oh, I'm on a long time. I would have been arrested. I would have been prosecuted. So, members of the press, this is not a joke. This is not fun. It is not the usual Ghanaian MPP, NDC politics. No, I am sorry. This is very serious business. Our world is being taken over by a few people who think that they have got the power to dominate and superimpose their moral views on all of us. Should we allow this? Should we allow this? Of course not. And that is why we are serious. We are in a battle. And as far as this coalition is concerned, we don't fear any foe. Why is it so? Because God is on our side. We are not afraid of anybody. We are not afraid of the United Nations. We are not afraid of politicians. We are not afraid of nobody. The only person we fear is God in heaven. And we will rally the people of this country, we will rally the people of this continent, we will rally the people of the Arab world, so that together we can stand and roll back Taflache, this nonsense. If you agree with me, say hallelujah, say amen. Amen. You are the media. You might think you are not involved. You are just reporting. But I am telling you the consequences of a society that has taken God out of their community, that has been tolerant of what is happening. I have read to you the consequences of that laissez-faire attitude. Oh, live and let's live. Oh, let's allow them. We're all together. Those are the consequences. That is why this coalition is serious.
Moses Formwini speaking earlier today. Now, the National Democratic Congress has been speaking to this. They recently released a statement on the president's comments specifically, and we'll be bringing you excerpts of that. It says the NDC has noted the belated and insincere assurances of President Akufo-Addo to the leadership of the religious community to the effect that the Comprehensive Sexuality Education CSE would not be introduced in the school curriculum under his watch. We note that the president elected to speak only after the horses had bolted from the stable door and in the face of an avalanche of condemnation which he could no longer ignore. They continue to say the NDC finds it extremely difficult to reconcile the president's belatedly lame assurances with the well-established and concrete facts known to many. What are these facts? Ghanaians are well aware that CSE has already found expression in the new standard-based curriculum and the teacher resource packs for basic schools. This is an incontrovertible fact which teachers and their union leaders have confirmed firmly and publicly. Ghanaians are now privy to a raft of official documentation which include the 2019 budget statement approved by Parliament last year, invitation letters and reports of workshops that have earlier been convened to train teachers on CSE implementation. Also contrary to the claims of President Akufo-Addo, it's clear from the objectives of the approved CSE guidelines that at the core of this satanic program is a subtle attempt by the government to inculcate our children or to inculcate in our children acceptance and tolerance for LGBT, which affronts our laws and socio-cultural values as a people. It ends by saying the Akufo-Addo government has not denied its commitment to her international partners who have so far provided what government describes as generous funding for the elaborate rollout of CSE in Ghana, both within the school system and in communities targeting out-of-school settings. To the president now, and President Akufo-Addo has directed government appointees to devote serious attention to ensure victory in the upcoming national referendum for constitutional amendment to make position of chief executives of metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies an elected one. He is warning the credibility of the government ahead of the 2020 general elections would be questioned if Ghanaians reject the proposal. The Electoral Commission has set out December 17 for the referendum. And as part of its tour of the Ashanti region, President Akufo-Addo Wednesday afternoon spent time with chief executives of the 27 assemblies in the region. According to him, government is aware of the challenges likely to arise with the election of MMDCEs, but says the general good of the country must reign supreme.
They're going to be dealing with situations whereby an MPP government is likely to face opposition, MMDCs in certain parts of our country. Because it is not all parts of Ghana that have had the wisdom to embrace the message of the MPP in its entirety. And that there will be some areas. But, like in all efforts at democratic government, self-government, over time, conventions, attitudes will evolve that would make the system work. There are plenty of countries, even here on the African continent. So I'm appealing to you. Let us take this referendum seriously. Speaking on a purely partisan level, and it may not be what I should say in front of our civil servants, but let me say, nevertheless, it is it's going to look very bad if a manifesto commitment by the MPP administration within a year of going to the polls cannot deliver on it. We have to deliver on it. Otherwise, our credibility will be very much at stake in 2020. And since all of us, our position from president to district chief executive hinges on the victory of the MPP, we should be careful about jeopardizing the chances of the MPP in the election ahead of us.
Now, the president started his tour from the Menchia Palace, where he met with the Asantehene and later addressed a mini rally at Asokori Zongo and Ejiso after inspecting some ongoing projects. According to him, despite limited resources, a government has met the basic needs of Ghanaians.
3 years that I've been in office, becoming a master of how to rob Peter to pay Paul. Largely because I didn't come to meet a treasury worth the name. And I've had to be very inventive and creative in trying to find ways of getting money to get our programs on the way. But the grumblings aside, I'm satisfied that we have acted in a way to respond to the basic needs and the aspirations of our people for progress and for development. And we see it in so many areas. And you ought to be congratulated in the strength with which you have gone around carrying out the program of this government. If all these programs are attracting the support of our people and meriting their congratulations, it is because you are also working well. We want to make sure. We want to make sure that that process continues, so that at the end of next year, at the end of the day, I know that there are civil servants in this room, but for us, the politicians, we have a day of accountability, 7th of December 2020. And it is important that on that day, we are in a position to give a good account of our stewardship.
Now, a former executive secretary of the Inspector General of Police, Superintendent Peter Tobu, retired, has criticized the government for rejecting significant portions of the Emil Schultz Commission report. The commission, tasked to look into circumstances leading to the violence that characterized the Ayawaso West Wuogon by-elections, made several recommendations, including the prosecution of the SWAT team member who slapped MP Sam George. But all of that and more, constituting about 50% of the recommendations, were rejected. For many, including the minority in Parliament, government's position on the report adversely affects the campaign against party militia activities. Speaking at a forum by the Coalition of CSOs Against Political Vigilantism, Superintendent Tobu urged Ghanaians to vote out any party that accommodates vigilante groups.
I'm just being real to the fact that in Ghana, we pretend too much. When there is fire, let's look for water and quench it. Let's not sweep it under the carpet. I'm sure that all of you have realized that the people who were harmed or injured during the Ayawaso West Wagon, they are still in pain. We've not been able to truly reconcile. We've not been able to truly heal them. And this is just lying waiting for us. Vengeance can come. But what we are saying is that as a country, let's hold the bull by the horn. Say it as it is. If it is wrong, it is wrong. Because where we have got it to, and I was saying, whether NDC or MPP, let's be honest with ourselves and say political vigilance is a no-go area for our democracy. Simple and short.
But the government commissioned the most short committee to, investigate the matter. They submitted their report, and government has dealt with it. I mean, you're not satisfied, clearly.
I want every Ghanaian to be a student of the ML Short Commission report. Right. Read it word by word, page by page, and read government's recommendation. Read the government white paper. And that's why I was saying that the government white paper is not white enough. The government white paper is not white enough. Mark my words. And they know it's not about grammar. This country, we love the country. You see, I speak like this because I have real experience in Bosnia. I saw what war is. I've seen what war is in Darfur. I've seen what war is in South Sudan. I've seen what it is in Liberia. So when I'm talking about the love for my country, listen, I am so passionate about it. The government white paper is not white enough. That is all I will say.
And you think that there might be reprisals should NDC return to power?
It is not about reprisals. It's about the fact that we need to do things right. And sometimes when people get out of control, it's very difficult to manage them. Let's do things right. And when there is discipline in this country, I don't think that anybody will just rise up and pick a gun or pick a knife and start chasing a brother because 10 years ago you hurt me and nothing has happened, and today I have gotten the opportunity and I have to pay back. That is wrong.
Now, speaking on the theme Ayawaso West Wagon, recounting the cost of healing the victims, security analyst Adam Bona called for the establishment of a Truth and Reconciliation Forum to hear the complaints of victims. He believes the forum will heal aggrieved parties in this case.
And I'm saying this, and I would say it should not be only for Ayawaso West Wagon victims. It should be, let's backdate it, if it has to be Talensi, Etiwa, and others, Chiriponi, bring them together. Because there are people who today are incapacitated, either in Talensi or Etiwa or whatever. And they are going through pain, and you know the way our politicians are. They use you and you are left. And so can we bring all these people in a room, if there are 100 of them, let's listen to them. Maybe those who don't know how painful this can be would learn lessons, and they themselves, they would get out that hate out of them. Just like we did after after Kufuor came into power, we had some commission set up. In South Africa, they've had it. And I think if we are not careful and we want to use punitive, let's punish. We might not get what we want, first of all. And secondly, people will continue to grieve. And chances are that when their party comes into power, they will pick up arms and try to revenge. And so mine is that let's bring them in dialogue and let them heal, speak about how they feel, how painful this whole thing is or has been.
So do I...
Now, you're still live on JoyNews today. Lawyer Martin Pebu says the Bank of Ghana must ensure that persons who used to hold key positions in any of the collapsed banks do not find their way back into the financial sector. He believes if care is not taken, the mistakes of the past will be repeated in the Ghanaian banks. The Bank of Ghana has strict rules concerning which category of persons can hold senior management positions. For instance, in banks, Martin Pebu, however, suspects these directives are being ignored.
What happens is that in criminal cases and generally the court system, there are so many impediments that delay the cases. So then the first thing we should be looking to see and which we should push for is that we should have the court that's going to try this case set up in such a way that perhaps we relieve the judge of so many other duties so that he can focus. We can use the state attorneys and the investigators and the other people who are going to work on this case also on their other duties so that they can concentrate. So that this one we can have a speedy trial. When that is done, it will boost the confidence of the international community in our system. And we ourselves, even before we talk about the international community, we as a society, it will help us immensely. So what it is that you very soon find that if the experience is anything to go by, the judge will be doing this case. We have several other cases. Several is actually an understatement. Hundreds of cases. So often there is a divided attention. So when a trial is held today, the next one they say, oh, let's come in 2 weeks. The next one will come in 1 month. Meanwhile, in the same Ghana here in the 1960s, cases such as this, they dedicate, 2 weeks or 1 month. We would deal with only this case and get it over with.
So would you then support the calls for dedicated courts to this case?
Absolutely. I mean, it's a no-brainer. That's the same thing.
We saw with the Enron scandal, for instance, that these hearings were public. Would you suggest that to the judiciary?
Oh, yes. That would be fantastic. Yes, it would help. Because, from day one, I'm placing more weight on the trial process, bringing education to the populace and also sending a signal to the whole society that, look, this thing doesn't pay. So I think, yes, telecasting the proceedings would also help immensely. Yes, because as I've always said, let's not be fixated on conviction alone. No, conviction is just the end product, but the whole process would send a very serious message to our society.
Still live on JoyNews today, that was Martin Pebu advocating that the trial of William Atto Essien and 3 others for allegedly stealing 262 million cedis from the Capital Bank should be held in public. It's still live on JoyNews today. It's time for business. Stay with us.